How's it going, everyone? College Lefty, and in this video I'm going to be participating in the first ever MLB The Show esports tournament. I'm also going to be discussing the positives and the negatives that came about from the tournament, as well as what's upcoming in the next couple of weeks and what to sort of expect in the future with MLB The Show and these esports tournaments. So basically a few days ago, MLB The Show as well as Sony tweeted out that there would be a Fall Cup qualifying sort of tournament. There would be a series of 8 qualifying matches on different weekends and stuff like that, basically totaling into $25,000 in weekly prizes, as well as a big time tournament at the end. So basically for this first event, they only really gave 3 days notice, which I would like to see more time in the future. But 2,700 people signed up, so that's a lot of people. 1,700 people checked in for the actual tournament. And there were some confusion. There was some misleading information. You needed to have certain team restrictions. The team restrictions for the tournament would be 395 plus overall players in your starting lineup, in your batting lineup. Then you would have to have 3 players 85 to 94 overall, and then the remaining 2 players would have to be gold. So people were unsure if they were able to use their created player. We saw some people use them. I certainly used mine. I had another team that I had made without my created player in the lineup. But people were also wondering about players on Inside Edge. I know Dylan Betanzas and Roberto Osuna were playing up to diamonds on Inside Edge. But this is the team that we're going to be rocking with in this video. Of course, we have Osuna in the lineup. But some other things that were going on in the tournament, basically you had to report your win or your loss with the person that you matched up with via screenshot on the actual PlayStation or via the website. Now, some people were reporting the wrong scores, and ESL, the people that hosted this tournament, were able to fix all of these issues and get the people that actually won. Now, maybe some people slipped through the cracks and reported some wrong game scores anyway. And as we get into this gameplay, I'm going to be talking about the tournament as well. I was live streaming these games over on Twitch yesterday. I had a pretty long live stream. And that's another thing that I want to talk about, is the amount of time that players had to dedicate in order to participate in this. Basically, from the first screenshot you saw, it was 4 rounds, and that's what everyone had planned on playing, is 4 3-inning games, kind of a Swiss system style, which means everybody starts with a 0-0 record. Everyone has the same amount of points, 0. And each win is 20 points, each loss is 5 points. Now, with that being said, I think that both of those rules are very positive. I think that there's a lot of potential with tournaments like this. My number one thing is I would hope that the games would be a little bit longer. We're playing 3-inning games, and in a tournament-based mode, I don't really know if 3-inning games determines the best player in this situation. I think that anyone can win, and I think that you can have some luck involved that determines the outcome of the game. So that's not what you would want to go for in a tournament setting. For people that also did not know that there was a Counter-Strike tournament going on, hosted by the same gaming company, ESL, and it's one of the largest gaming companies in the entire world. But they were also hosting a Counter-Strike tournament that was being hosted on Twitch as well, for about 15,000, 20,000 people. So that was probably their number one priority. I completely understand that. They have other priorities as well. And that was actually hosted on their specific channel for their company. So there wasn't anyone hosting the MLB The Show tournament, which I would say is kind of a downside. You would want to have as many eyes on it as possible. Obviously, there were some live streamers yesterday that were playing that had a lot of viewers for the tournament. I think that that's helpful. But if they had a host channel, basically to give people updates, give people more information about the tournament, there wasn't really anyone you could go to in person, if that makes sense. Like on the internet in person, you kind of had to email somebody or message them like a support team to try and get some information as the tournament was going on. Also, one thing that I didn't really enjoy was the time in between games. I would say for the majority of the people playing in this tournament, I felt like we could have finished this entire tournament in about 2.5 hours to play 4 3-inning games in about a half hour in time for each, and a little bit of downtime in between each game. But there were certain situations where I was waiting for an hour. I know some other people were waiting for an hour. I completely understand that when you're playing in esport tournaments, you're going to have to dedicate a lot of time. But the way that it was set up, the way that it was organized, I don't really necessarily think that you should have more wait time than actual game time in the tournament. I played for about an hour and a half in terms of total game time, and I was waiting around probably for 2 hours in between games and everything like that. Now I understand with this many people and everything that's going on with other tournaments going on as well. Maybe the entire they're gonna have a lot of people in the company, so multiple staffs are going to be kind of separating the different events and focusing on the different events. So I would think that in the future these events will be ran a little bit more smoothly. I just wanted to give you guys my thoughts, my initial reactions, as well as kind of my opinion on the whole entire event in itself. I think that in general this event is a huge W for the MLB The Show community. I think that this is what people want. I don't know if the game is quite there. We see some questionable things happen every now and then. I got extremely lucky so far in this game, and with only 3 innings to play, I could easily get bailed out and win this one. I felt like the opponent was outplaying me at times. We only had 1 hit apiece, and I'm looking to try and get something going in some of these games. But I was definitely excited to participate in this tournament. I could not wait to see who I match up against. I actually know this person that I'm playing as well, so I think that that's pretty cool. The fact that you have a chance to place people that you know, people that are other content creators in this community, and have a great chance to participate in some really good games and some really competitive MLB The Show. I think this is amazing. I just think that being that it's the first time, there's going to be some things that aren't done necessarily the greatest way possible, and that's going to happen. I think that over time you make those adjustments just as any company would. But I just wanted to also let people know, for those of you that didn't know, that there was other stuff going on that this company was also focused on. So the fact that it did run as smoothly as possible is also pretty good. But unfortunately, I was not able to finish out this tournament. I will have some gameplay for you guys from this tournament, but I did not finish it out. There was just no way I could wait around for that long. I had a lot of stuff to work on. I wanted to get some videos made. I needed to focus on preparing for this upcoming week, as well as I know a lot of people have stuff going on in their personal lives. They would have loved to have more notice for this. They maybe could have moved some things around that they had planned already in order to participate. And I mean, at times the game isn't quite ready for an esports scene, because I mean, look at stuff like this. Gallo hits a line drive base hit. I tried to make a diving play, and then he's just jogging to first base. I threw him out. I got extremely lucky. That's all I'm going to say. This opponent is a very good player, a 2-time top 50 player, and I expected to play some really good games in this tournament. I ended up walking it off in the extra innings, in 4 innings, so it's great to see that. At the same time, I could have very easily lost that game. I also blew a couple opportunities to win the game multiple times, so it is what it is, and we'll go ahead and hop into the second game. This was the final game that I participated in. Once the third round came about, I was probably waiting for about 45 minutes to an hour, and by the time I got the third matchup, I was just really hungry, needed to get some food, spend some time with my family, prepare for the upcoming week as well. So I have been offered a coaching position, teaching position here and there, so I need to try and focus on what I'm doing in my personal life in terms of that. But I wanted to participate in this first ever MLB The Show esports tournament. In this second game here, I thought that at the loading screen, I thought that this opponent was going against the team restrictions. As I mentioned earlier in the video, 395 plus overall cards. You have to have 385 to 94 diamond cards, and then the remaining were gold cards. So the thing that threw me off was that he had Kershaw batting in the 8th spot. And I thought that when I matched up with him, I thought that that was the Signature Series Benito Santiago. So I thought that he had multiple 95 overall plus cards in his lineup. And I was actually mistaken. I was 100% wrong on this, and I do apologize. During my live stream, I was like, wait a minute, this guy has too many 95 plus cards. But that's the one thing, I mean, that's probably the main thing that I would focus on if I was this company for the next time, is just clarifying team restrictions. Are people able to use their creative player? Are people able to use players that are playing up on inside edge? Are people able to use gold creative players as their gold cards? That was something that came up. making sure that screenshots are posted, letting people know where to post their screenshots. That was something that I got asked a lot, was do I post a screenshot of my team? I think that's important. All of these things make a huge difference. Are you able to play in both major league stadiums, minor league stadiums? Are you able to use knuckleball pitchers on your team? They didn't really specify any of these rules, and I can definitely tell that they have been listening to the MLB The Show competitive players in this thing, people that have really been pulling for esports, people that have ran tournaments in the past. I think that they've been listening because a lot of the rules were coinciding with that, but at the same time just not specific enough. You really have to clarify every little thing. The one good thing about this though was that the actual rules in game, so if you had the strike zone on, the hot zones off, perfect umpires, umpire close plays on, stuff like that, all of that was clarified. Just some team restriction questions, a couple controversial things in that nature. But overall, this tournament, absolute success. I can't wait to see how some of these other qualifiers turn out. That's another thing, is if you're not able to put the time and effort into playing in multiple qualifiers, into these situations, into these every week or so, then it's going to be extremely challenging to place at the very end when it's all said and done. Because I believe there are 8 qualifiers, and it's the total points from all of those qualifiers. So it's really going to be who can dedicate the most time to these, and who can win the most games. I think that the winner could potentially only have a few losses, maybe even go undefeated, since it is 4 games a week. I think that some of these top players can easily win 4 games in a row. I'm not sure if people are matching up with people that are 4-0 each week and moving on into the next week as well. But anyway, just some information regarding the first ever MLB The Show esports. Thank you all for watching this video. Let me know what you guys thought about the tournament. If you weren't a part of the live stream yesterday, that's okay. Let me know what you guys thought about other people's live streams, other people's content, what they said, pros and cons about the tournament, and what you would have done differently to improve for the next time. It's always good to give feedback. That's simply what I'm doing. Constructive criticism, and hopefully you guys understand my approach. So peace out, everyone. Hopefully you have a great day. I'm College Lefty, and I'll see you next time.